that's enough from me. We're going to kick it off with Stack. So I'm going to bring on Jesse Luter to kick us off. Hey, Jesse.
Awesome. Hey, Courtney. Appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, so like I said, we're doing some hot takes. I would like to know what your hot take is for the day.
All right. Very fun. So, AI driven pre-construction. So, my hot take is if AI doing your takeoff scares you, you've got the wrong job description. Measuring lines was never a part or never meant to be the skilled part. The judgment call after the measuring done is the real job. And in my opinion, that's the part that AI will not be able to touch. That's my hot take.
Interesting. Yeah, no, interesting. I'm excited to hear about it. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. So, hey, everybody, again, really excited to be with you all today to have the opportunity to show you a little bit about Stack. And I have Sage Intact listed at the top of this slide here, but just for everyone in the audience, we have native integrations for Sage Intact, Sage 300, as well as Acumatica. So, with that said, in the next few minutes, my goal is to really give you a quick picture of what Stack is, why it matters, specifically why it matters to you when you're running construction work on one of those ERPs I listed. And what is Stack? And in one line, Stack is the single cloud platform that runs your entire pre-construction workflow from your plans, takeoff, and estimating, and then hands clean numbers over to your ERP. So this is our core offering. One thing our customers love is that you don't need three separate tools to handle your pre-construction workflow with us. With Stack, it starts with plans and document management, where every plan and spec is uploaded to one searchable home, where you're utilizing OCR technology to organize and also provide hyperlinks just to make it easier on you when you're in a project and need to bounce around from document to document. And then from there, you run the takeoff. And this is where you're measuring the materials and labor to complete that project, utilizing items and assemblies. And this is where a lot of our AI kind of comes into play to help you out. And then from there, that takeoff will flow straight into a detailed estimate and proposal that you're able to send out the door. Now, AI is everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. And for us, it really is the wow factor in our solution. We're leveraging AI in a couple of different ways currently, with developments being put out every day. Have an exciting announcement not too far off. But currently what we allow you to do is you can obviously chat with your plans. So you can go into a project and actually ask what drywall is specified here. And then we'll look across all the documents within that project and provide a cited answer back to you within seconds. And then second, and the where you're going to save a lot of time and effort, is automatic measurement, where we auto count walls and areas for you on the takeoff, which means AI is handling up to 90% of your takeoff. So your estimator can sit back and focus more on the review aspect of his job as opposed to the redraws. And the net effect you have here is you have less risk, faster turns, and a team that's going to be able to bid more work with the same amount of people. Now, here's what really matters for everyone running on Intact, but also Acumatica and Sage 300. Today, most teams are rekeying their estimate and project data into their accounting system by hand. This is obviously slow and can be error prone. With Stack, we're going to connect directly to your ERP. So your projects, estimates, and cost data are going to move over directly. So no need to export or rekey anything. And the result you have from this is you have that one source of truth. So the bid that you're sending out the door is going to reflect the books that you manage. And we're in construction, so we have folks that love Excel and live in spreadsheets. So that's why we also have Stack for Excel. So if you're key to keeping that spreadsheet, you can bring in Stack for Excel, where we allow you to pull in takeoff and estimating data from our takeoff platform directly into your spreadsheet and syncing in real time. All right, so with this presentation today, if you remember 4 things, I would make them these. Number one, the entire pre-construction workflow on one platform. So document management, takeoff, and estimating are on one tool, not three disconnected platforms. Two, you have AI that's going to do the heavy lifting for you. Three, those native integrations we spoke about, Intact, Sage 300, as well as Acumatica. So your estimates and cost data are going to land in your ERP directly. And then fourth, a free way in, a no cost entry tier that makes it super easy to start with us and then grow from there. Now, what are our customers actually seeing and saying about us? So here's some numbers that I have from some polls that we've done through our customer base. I'll just read through a few of those for you. Number one, they save about 4 hours per project, and they're cutting their estimating time by roughly 30%, while 89% of our customers say Stack is speeding up their takeoff and estimating. And the cool thing here is most of our customers are up and running in less than 8 hours. But we also show up in revenue too, with that last box, where 75% of our customers see their revenue climb 25% or more. So in short, we help our customers become faster, become more accurate, and win more work. All right, so that is Stack in a nutshell. One cloud platform for your takeoff and estimating. AI tool that's going to do the heavy lifting for you, connected right to your ERP. So a win-win situation for you all if you're running pre-construction work. And if any of this sounds interesting and you'd like to deep dive, definitely more than happy to connect with you.
Yes, and if you want to connect with Jesse, definitely reach out to your SWK rep. Let us know in the poll. We're so happy to connect you, and we'll have more information on all of that at the end. So thanks, Jesse. You know, prime time, right on 6 minutes. So thanks so much. We're going to keep it rolling.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, so next up, let me bring on Luke from Avalara. Hey, Luke, how you doing?
Good, Courtney. How are you?
Good. So we love our partners at Avalara. I would love to know what your hot take is.
So I don't know that it's a hot take for everyone, but maybe coming from the sales tax guy, it is. Sales tax in construction is just the worst. I don't know if that's necessarily a hot take, but it's hard. It's a pain in the neck, and we've got a lot of ways to help. So that's
yeah.
kind of
I mean, maybe there's a tax fan out there. Who knows? But I think people might probably be with you on that one. So I'll let you take it away and tell us what you guys can do.
Yeah, of course. So what are we talking about here, right? Sales tax can often be a big hidden problem, right? Construction companies got enough stuff to deal with. You got safety regulations that are super important. You got licensing requirements. There's so much stuff that is like a right now or a really big problem. And sometimes sales tax can get lost in the shuffle. You know, I talk to a lot of construction companies showing Avalara tax research, and very often, maybe 10 to 15% of the time, which feels pretty often, people in construction just say, listen, I just don't want to do this. We want to build houses. We want to put roofs on. We want to do plumbing, like whatever it is, right? So Avalara helps with a lot of that stuff, taking a lot of work off your plate. But in construction, automation is also something that's hard. And so we've got some ways that it's not just the automation that we do, it is supporting you through the entire process, right? From the bid all the way to making sure things get put on a return and they're protected under audit. So what do I mean though when I talk about tax compliance being a big hidden problem? You probably have multiple systems that are creating unnecessary efficiencies, whether that be Excel or a bunch of stuff on paper or a couple of different systems to try to run invoicing and billing and project management and all this kind of stuff, right? Those multiple systems can create some unnecessary inefficiencies. So what we want to do is have a single source of truth, right? If we can create a single source of truth and a single platform, just like Jesse was talking about, having a consolidated platform really makes things easy. Poor record keeping, and not necessarily always poor record keeping, but maybe disparate record keeping, creates an outsized audit risk, right? Bad record keeping is the first place that an auditor is going to go look to try and get that low-hanging fruit and say, hey, you didn't provide this certificate, or even on the licensing side, right? You didn't have this license when you did this job. So it's the first place auditors and regulators are looking. And then a lot of times what I hear is we rely on one person, right? For me, it's always been this woman named Pam. She worked at a place called Crown Packaging. and I was working with her. She knew everything about crown packaging and their sales tax. She knew where all to find all the stuff. She knew how the states dealt with everything. She was the one person that could solve everything. This happens at construction firms quite a bit, right? You've got an office manager or a controller or somebody that's been there a long time and kind of figures it all out and knows it all. What happens when that person gets jury duty, right? What happens when he or she can't show up to work for one reason or another and you've got things you got to answer? Things start to break down. It gets tough. So how do we help with these things? Well, one thing that we're going to do is provide you with Avalara Tax Research, which is a real-time, up-to-date kind of centralized tax knowledge base. Makes it easy to understand content that makes sense in an industry that defies kind of sales tax norms, right? The way we break it down, we make it easy to understand things. We've got a team of research experts you can ask questions to. And in modern fashion, right? We've got a really great AI research assistant that you can simply ask a question to in any state and get a really quick answer. So it's probably the most valuable thing we do here at Avalara for a lot of our construction customers and partners is get them access to this platform and help them understand sales tax, help them deal with prime contractors, subcontractors, wherever they sit in that chain. Other companies may not have the answer. They may not know. This is the platform that allows you to get the answer and even share it with others, okay? The other thing I talked about, that document management and record keeping. We've got a platform called Exemption Certificate Management. This automates and centralizes all of your certificate management. So where you've got things sitting in a drawer, where you've got things in file folders on a desktop or somewhere, we take all that and we centralize it. It's then easy to connect to your customer records, right? Specifically speaking for Sage and Acumatica, we've got integrations there. So you can do a lot of that work in those platforms. If for whatever reason you're on a platform that doesn't connect, we've got help for that too, right? It can be a standalone system. So all of this stuff is supported by AI and OCR, right? So we can validate certificates. We know when they're filled out correctly. We know if they're signed in the right place. All of those kind of things we can very quickly figure out for you. And then we've even got a team of professionals that do managed services with this and help you clean everything up and then get moving forward on a really strong platform. So those are the two key things I wanted to share today. Again, Avalara's got a lot of things we can do. I would say license management and property tax, if you're doing equipment leases or dealing with that as well, would be really big or really good fits for folks in construction. But those are the two key platforms, Avalara Tax Research and Exemption Certificate Management. That's what I got, Courtney. Did I beat my 6 minutes?
You beat your 6 minutes, record breaking, and that was a lot of information in there too. So totally appreciate it. I know you guys do so many things, so that's just the surface level. So, I'm excited for Q&A at the end. And as always, let us know in the chat and the polls if you guys want to learn more about what Avalara can do. So, thank you, Luke. Okay, moving on to our final presentation of the day. Last but not least, let me bring on Laura. Hey, Laura.
Hi, Courtney. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. So, final hot take of the day. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So, most valuable tool in any toolbox, duct tape.
Yeah. I actually had to search for duct tape yesterday. That is for a very random reason. Amazing. Okay, we'll take it away. Excited to hear about it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, jumping into it, nice to have everyone on today. Laura Jansen from ADP, and I'm here to talk to you today because every construction company that I'm talking to is talking about challenges they have with maintaining margins, finding and retaining talent, and really understanding how they can activate their talent to remain profitable and productive inside of a complex legislative environment that we're all working in. So ADP, we've looked to solve that challenge for organizations. Years ago, we looked at the construction industry, and for the first time, we went back to the table and built a 4-industry product. We started with the payroll engine and looked at how construction companies were unique from other industries, the challenges we needed to solve with the wage logic behind prevailing wages, the union logic and fringe benefits that were tied to it, and built from there, then layered in the tools and talent tools that ADP was already known for in order to provide a unique solution to construction companies. From there, we started looking at the service model and realized that construction companies needed more than the traditional service model that ADP brought to their clients. So we brought together the Construction Center of Excellence, which was a group of individuals who service solely organizations that have prevailing wage and union logic. So it's carved out into this really boutique environment inside of ADP. We've got industry technology, boutique service environment, but you're powered by the infrastructure of ADP. And we'll talk about what that means in just a minute. And then the third prong we looked at were the partnerships that were so important to construction organizations. Things like the different timekeeping and project management solutions that organizations needed to leverage for their entire business model and how we can connect with them to receive that information. The ERP systems that needed to receive the job costing and general ledger files back. So Sage Intacct, clearly one of the flagship integrations that we have, Acumatica, Sage 300. We connect with multiple ERPs through different partnerships that we have and really multiple different systems with our open architecture. So those three pillars really powered the development of ADP's workforce now for construction. But the rest of ADP is what continues to power what we're bringing to the table that differentiates our product from other boutique organizations that are out there. AI, it's a term that's out there. Everybody's talking about it. And what separates ADP's HCM AI from other organizations is rather than having generic AI inside the product, our AI is built specifically for workforce management, and it's powered by our decades of payroll and HR expertise. Our solutions, they're leveraging data from more than 1.1 million clients and roughly 42 million worksite employees. So, what does that mean for you as an organization? It's allowing managers to better identify workforce trends and do it faster so they can make decisions and course correct. It's helping to automate administrative processes for HR teams, things like, hey, I need a pay stub, I'm going to get a car, or how do I request off PTO? And it's providing different recommendations, intelligent recommendations that can help support where to hire that next piece of talent, how to plan workforce, how to fuel your retention strategies within that organization. But it's doing all of this in a way where the organization gets to maintain human oversight into the organization, which is so important. We can't just rely on AI to run the organization, but we can allow it to create efficiencies within how we do the job and bring the right information to the surface so we can make it actionable for the organization. The second piece that really differentiates ADP from other organizations is our security posturing. And knowing what a target construction companies are for cybersecurity threats, I think it's important to understand how we protect your data and really the data of your employees. Think about we've got names, social security numbers, bank account information, and ADP takes this information really seriously. So we have more than 300 security specialists that are across 15 countries that are working to protect your information and our security systems day in and day out. That security team is typically larger than many other organizations as a whole. Their sole focus is looking at how we can find vulnerabilities and protect them up ahead of any attacks or any infrastructure violations coming across. Second place is that innovation. So rather than having this team report through the IT team, our security team reports to our chief security officer, who funnels up to our chief administrative officer, which provides a different level of oversight and accountability inside the organization. And then we have a 24/7, 365 critical response team to make sure that we're always monitoring and shoring up against any potential threats that are out there. We maintain key alliances within the industry and we collaborate with federal and local law enforcement to ensure that we're on top of everything, monitoring and reporting any potential threats that are out there. So, when you're working with ADP, your information and your employees' information is going to be kept safe. And then finally, when it comes to integrations, I think this is super important as we look to create that whole ecosystem within the organization, a secure ecosystem. ADP provides that out to, as I said, Sage Intacct, Acumatica, Sage 300, as well as a whole slew of other organizations that you may want to be able to connect your data to. We have an entire integrations dashboard where you can manage this information, an open architecture where you can create a two-way set of data flow for any information that you need connected so that you're not spending time on those manual tasks, that data relay back and forth between your systems. And then as all of you guys are connected to SWK, there's a lot of value add you have by engaging ADP through this partnership. We have dedicated implementation and service teams just for you through this partnership. There's access to the technology, preferred pricing. You have a dedicated sales associate who works exclusively with SWK clientele. So they're understanding how you're engaging with your resources, the types of information that is coming back and forth between the system, how those integrations need to be set up. Makes for a much easier transition and implementation into that system. And then through that, the Advantage program provides you additional resources, complementary benchmarking, and overseeing all of that beyond your account manager. As an executive relationship manager who's continually monitoring and managing the information to ensure that you're having a great experience with ADP and you're going to be one of our long-term successful clients. I'd love to be able to talk with any of you guys who are interested in just benchmarking your current services today or interested in looking at how ADP is disrupting the construction industry and helping you source your next great piece of talent. So thanks so much, Courtney, and hopefully I stayed under my 6 minutes this time.
I am mind blown that you fit all of that in 6 minutes. That was so much great information. Great job, because I don't know how you did it. So wonderful. And, Laura's our last presenter, but we have a lot more to come. So, get your questions in now. You can put them in the Q&A chat wherever. And I'm going to bring our other presenters back on stage. Let me find them. There's Jesse. Let's get Luke. Okay, guys. Great job. I know 6 minutes is super short. You guys all shared a lot of information, and I know I have some questions. So I think I'm going to start, with Jesse, because I've been thinking about your hot take a little bit. And I'm curious to know, if AI is handling the estimating now, how can people, be confident about that? So if they're handling takeoff, how are these estimators confident that the measurements are right? And what does the review look like for, that AI process?
Absolutely. Great question. So I think it's important to understand that AI is not going to replace the estimator's judgment. What it's going to do is it's going to remove the busy work before that judgment happens. So what's going on? The AI is proposing measurements based on the plants. So nothing gets counted towards the estimate until a person is confirming it. So every measurement is overlaid right on the drawing. So the estimator is able to see exactly what the AI tool counted, where, and side by side on the plan itself. So if something looks off, they're able to adjust it in that same worksheet. So the review step isn't a bolted on step. It's just the normal way an estimator works. But with us, you're not starting from a blank page. That's the difference there. So I think it's important to note that the AI is not removing the estimator's ability for judgment, and that's where the benefit of having such great estimators come in for your business, for your companies.
That's a great point. It's so wonderful that everyone has, all this new AI technology built in, but we know, at this stage, it's new, it's imperfect. And so it's a really great, helpful tool to get there, but glad to know that there's still that review step in there. So, I want to bring it back to Laura, because Laura, you fit so much in your presentation, but I know there's also a lot more to cover as always. So I'm curious to know, specifically when we're talking about the construction industry, when employees move between prevailing wage projects or say, union locals and the rates and the benefits, how do those get associated without manual intervention?
Yeah, great question, and something a lot of clients are looking to automate. It all starts with the timekeeping, whether it's ADP or a third-party system that a client already has in place. We're collecting that project data, the work class, the role that they're acting in. And as it runs through the ADP system, we're associating the right rate, fringe benefit, union class based on where that project is and the type of work that worker's doing. And then building in that logic to understand, are we paying the higher of two rates to ensure that we're in compliance with a CBA or a prevailing wage a contract that an organization has, and reporting to the appropriate local, no matter what wage that we ultimately are paying out, so that the organization pays the employee compliantly and has accurate reporting at the end of the day.
Okay, great. And that has a lot of complexity, right? Like unions and prevailing wage. And another one of you guys that has a lot of complexity and helps with that is Avalara. So Luke, I want to throw it over to you. For contractors that work across multiple state lines, where does sales and use tax typically go wrong? Because I think a lot of people overlook sales tax in general, but you and I both know that it's not that simple. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I would say where it most often kind of goes wrong or goes off the rails is when you cross into a state you're unfamiliar with the rules, right? So let's use Texas as an example. And let's say you normally do your construction up in Oklahoma and you go down to Texas. Texas has some unique rules around how to invoice and what that means to tax. Meaning typically you would do a lump sum invoice in pretty much any state in the country, and it's going to follow the rules of the state. Most states, you're the consumer of materials, so you'll pay sales tax on your materials. You don't charge tax to the end customer. But in Texas, if you go in with a lump sum contract, which again normally is pretty straightforward, but it's separated as far as you line out the line items. You don't bill individually for them, but you do line them out. Texas now wants you to treat that as a true separated time and materials contract. And now all of a sudden you have to be the reseller of materials in Texas, where previously, if it's a true lump sum, it's just one line item, one number. Now you just treat it like normal. You pay tax on your materials. That kind of uniqueness and that kind of nuance exists in a whole bunch of states across the country, right? And so that's where I would say it often breaks down crossing state lines. Yeah, not your biggest audit risk. I'd still say that's probably your certs and your rates. But the rules are the thing that just drive people absolutely nuts in construction. And that's what we help with. So,
Yeah, very heavily regulated industry. And, at SWK, we're all about solutions that can help people get rid of that manual effort and, focus on the things that really matter. So you all do that exceptionally well. So thank you. We're right perfectly at time. So you all did great today. For everyone out there, the poll's still live, but this is just a sneak preview. There's a lot more to discover about all of these. They can work great, together as a set. They all have a lot of additional capabilities we didn't cover today. So I'm going to throw this up on the stage for anyone that doesn't know. But if you want to reach out after the session, you can always reach us at info@swktech.com, and we're happy to connect you with ADP, Avalara, Stacked, or talk about your current solution stack and what maybe makes sense for you, and what technology gaps you may have or needs you may have. So happy to connect. Reach out to us at any time, or you can find more about all of today's solutions on SWKtech.com. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Luke, for doing these very quick hits with us today. And we hope everyone out in the audience has a great rest of their day. So thank you.